Hi everyone, so I hope I am audible and visible. Anyone can write in the chat box. Perfect, thank you. So thank you, Keka Academy, from bringing it here. It's an amazing day. It's a Saturday, and I see a lot of audience joining in. So we'll quickly get started with the PowerPoint presentation which I have prepared, and there will be also some exercises on ChatGPT as well, because this is my favorite area. So let me know once my screen is visible. Okay, perfect. So I guess before I start, I just wanted to give you a heads up about like what are the things we are going to cover up. So we are mostly going to cover the three different areas, in ChatGPT, which is very specific for the HR professionals, right? So we are going to talk about recruitment, employee engagement, and one of the most important thing which I really like is performance management. So these are the only three areas which we are going to cater to, right? And before moving into the deeper part of each of those areas, I would also like to highlight why this chat gpt is really useful for hrs, because again, if you see right now, everything is ai enabled. When you talk about organizations using ai and ats, even keka does use for its process in terms of providing access to different startups, smes, mid markets, and then enterprises in terms of helping with recruitment and onboarding. So I believe this chat gpt has to be enabled in ai, and it has to be used in recruitment and onboarding. And you really need to learn the process of chat gpt, because it will really help you in terms of getting things done in fraction of seconds, right? Why employee engagement and support? Because I believe like the most of the important thing in any organization is to retain a talent, right? So to retain a talent, thanks to ai and chat gpt, now you can generate a tons of ideas. I'm going to show you a lot of prompt engineering as well, where you can actually play around with chat gpt in the later half. It also helps in performance management and analytics. So I'm sure you're aware about appraisal seasons on the line, and then obviously dashboards needs to be created. Let's say of who has performed what, how are they different from others, who is in the top 10 percentile, and things like that for appraisals and things like that. So with help of ai and with help of power bi, one can really automate a lot of things with chat gpt, right? So these are the topics which will be mostly covered, but there's also more. I'll also give some more insights about how do I use chat gpt in a day-to-day expense, right? So I mean, yeah, if you have any questions, please leave it in q&a section. Also you can chat if you have anything to say specifically, you can leave it. So we'll go through it after the end of the session so that we can answer all your questions quickly. Now, yeah, so the first and the foremost thing is I am talking about recruitment and onboarding, right? So one of the most important thing of any large language model is to understand how does it actually help in our day-to-day experiences, right? So let's think about our experiences, every routine which we do. Okay, so like I can say, when I've been hiring interns, I've been hiring a lot of particular candidates in different streams. I also need to make sure that my daily routine is sorted, right? So how do we use this kind of technologies in such a way where we get the maximum productivity, right? So that is where we really need to play around with those keywords of how do we use that kind of prompt engineering and applications, right? Now think about you have help, you need a help basically related with assistance. So you can get a digital hr assistant which can help you do automation, right? So it could be even if you are an L&D manager tomorrow, or let's say if you're already working as a recruiter, right? So you know that there are key challenges happening in an organization. It could be related with employees, it could be related with the external things, or it could be also related with calendar management. Right, so you really want to be super productive, and you really want to ensure that whatever is happening in a day-to-day basis is been tracked in a particular way. So I can talk about a website called Sidekick, and it really helps me to automate a lot of things. So, for example, if I want to ensure that I have been part of around 50 Slack groups, and then there are 25 WhatsApp important groups where I am part of, let's say for entrepreneurs, for recruiters, and let's say for different variety of things. So how do I ensure that everything is at one place, and then I take help of an HR assistant, or let's say an assistant, who ensure my calendar is set and things like that. So I use that tool to ensure I get all those updates quickly at one place, and I also can probably find solutions at a fraction of seconds, right? So I can give an example. So when I go and deliver lectures at Microsoft and different organizations for ChatGPT, so there we have very limited time. We have to deliver lectures to data scientists and analysts. And with the chat GPT coming into the picture, I can prepare presentations in under 7 minutes. That's the power of chat GPT 4.0. So regardless of where you want to give presentation in any environment, you can really use it to give amazing presentations. And the difference between 4.0 and 3.5, we are also going to discuss about the chat GPT models. But I would just like to highlight is the chat GPT 4.0 also helps me to get the PPT done. So I really don't have to worry about the format, or let's say worry about a specific context and things like that. I'll just give the prompt and will just generate things for me, though I really need to customize and make it more relevant. But again, the chat gpt 4.0 is really effective, right? So if you can see the photos on the screen, these are all AI enabled pictures, and I'll also show you how to generate them. I mean, there are some amazing prompts which we are going to discuss today. Yeah, so now this is the most important thing when it comes to human resource right now. The value of engaging the employees, right, and getting the right support at the right time, because there are some kinds of conflicts. Sometimes someone is on leave, or let's say you need a solution, and unfortunately you have to wait, right? So to combat with those kind of solutions, or let's say to get those problems solved quickly, what chat gpt 4 can do is they can automate a lot of things, right? And plus it can provide you with a higher accuracy, right? So if you can see on this screen, there are two different versions of model given. One on the left is the basic chat gpt model, another is the gpt 4, which is the latest part introduced. So you can see here, there's an input given where Andrew is one of the person. They have to design a meeting, and they have to ensure everyone is available at a particular time. So Andrew is free from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m., while Joanne is free from noon to 2 p.m. And then again, Joanne is free from 3:30 to 5. Hannah is available at noon for half an hour, and then 4 to 6 p.m. So what are the options to probably have a common meeting, let's say for Andrew, Hannah, and Joanne for 30 minutes, right? So this is a specific input given to ChatGPT, which is a generic model, which is available to public free of cost. But let's say if you go to GPT-4, there will be a different answer. So let's compare both those answers. So here you can see here the output. They have actually filtered and mentioned, okay, this is the time when Andrew is available. This is where Johan is available. This is when Hannah is available. This is the same thing. They have just put it in a format. Based upon their availability, they are mentioning there is a 30-minute window, which is available for one person. So the meeting can be scheduled at 4 p.m. Okay, so this is an analysis which the free model has done. Now with GPT-4, what has happened is they have identified very quickly that very specifically common availability should not be 4 to or after 4 o'clock. The reason being Andrew is available from 11 to 3 only. But with the free model, sometimes it's unable to answer that more accurate. And I believe like with the GPT-4, you can see that the answer is now perfect, right? So it's suggesting between 12 to 12:30, every one of them would be available. So we can set up a meeting with 12 to 12:30. Same thing I've seen with GPT-4. Let's say it's a salon shop, and there's an appointment they want to integrate with their customers or their future customers. So they will basically ask them some slots, and based upon the slot availability, they'll try to match that, and then they will come up with the right availability for that guest, right? And this is not just it, right? So it's not about just employee engagement and support, but it can also be catered to different industries. So when we talk about music, right, so even songwriters right now, I know in Bollywood, Tollywood, they are using for lyric creations, right? So basically they are using this kind of models to create amazing lyrics, because again, creativity part, AI can do way better than humans, though AI can't have emotions per se. But still they can have a lot of things which would be way better than us, right? So that is what the industry has done. Now imagine a situation when the HRBP, or let's say HR Spock, is on leave, right? So they have to ensure that there's a backup for them, so they can obviously get things automated if they can create the SOPs, and those can be circulated to new journals, and this automation can be done. All right, so that is with the help of GPT-4. One can actually automate that task, even if someone is going on leave. I remember getting a request from someone mentioning they are going for 3 or 4 months of leave. So how can I help them to ensure, like, if there are people joining, or let's say there are people who need to get offboarding, okay, so they are leaving the organization, so how we can automate it. So with the help of GPT-4, I suggested some of the techniques, and they really found it useful, right? So I believe this is something it can be implemented on a real time basis, but you really need to first figure out what are the challenges you're facing, so let the AI take care for your problems. Now jumping quickly to performance management and analytics. So before going to performance management, just think about what are the activities you do in a particular day. Okay, it could be something like, let's say, going to a grocery shop, noting what are the items you need, right? Then it could be like meeting XYZ people. It could be preparing a PowerPoint presentation. If you are a college student, you need to do assignments and things like that, right? So there are a lot of activities we do in a daily routine. Similarly, for a human resource, they have a lot of activities they need to do in a particular day-to-day job experience, right? So when we talk about communication, right, so they need to get and gather all that 360-degree feedback collection. So it's not just about getting feedback from the superiors, but also from your mentees, also from different departments. Okay, so HR is the root department which collects every information from each of the departments, so they can really engage the employees better, right? So how do we get that 360-degree feedback? How do we do things on automation? So with the help of ChatGPT, it can really be integrated into our day-to-day routines, right? Similarly, when it comes to getting the access of information, now this is one of the key challenges I see right now into the system. There is a lot of information overload. How do we get the right information at the right time? So example, I know I've worked in corporate for around a decade. So there was a time when there was an appraisal season going on, and I really needed to know, what is my performance review. So instead of me going to the system, which is a SAP based system, or let's say any ERP, I would actually would like to see things, in my inbox, or let's say I would like to see those graphs and analysis on a digital dashboard, right? So it has to be integrated with ChatGPT so that anytime it can be accessible. So I don't have to really go and log into a particular website, or let's say an ERP, to see that information, right? So that's the level of customization I'm talking with ChatGPT, right? And the last and the foremost is your creative assistance, right? So you can think about predictive analytics, right? So how can we know how many people are going to leave the organization in next 3 months? Okay, so that those kind of data and analytics we can try to predict, and based upon that we can streamline the appraisal. So if I know that, okay, this candidate is eventually going to move to another organization, so I can streamline their appraisals, or I can give them some kind of a different way of my approach would be a little different versus someone who's going to stick for a longer period of time. So all those kind of analysis, all those future predictions is what chat gpt can really help us. And the images, if you see, right, they are very engaging, right? All the images which the DALI model of ChatGPT prepares, it's super engaging. Now, one of the key aspect I have heard this from a lot of people, asking me as well, like, so they've been asking like, Abhishek, so I am giving all those information. What happens with my information which I'm giving to ChatGPT? So what I generally recommend is give limited information, but don't give your personal information, because what ChatGPT is doing is they are going to learn and relearn that, right? So it's just like basically if someone in tomorrow, they want to search a specific prompt, and you have already asked a prompt that solution, so based upon those analysis I'm going to show you that live as well. What I am talking about, what kind of analysis and things like that. So where I believe, like, people can actually see someone's data, or they can get some kind of insights if that data has already been fed in the past, right? So it's important for us to ensure we give only the right data, and not secure data, or let's say something personal data like demographics, name, age, and information like that, right? Passwords and things like that. So those data has to be avoided to give, because again, there are a lot of ethical hacking companies out there, and there are a lot of different hackers out there, so they can obviously misuse your information. So we have to ensure we give limited information, but we have to be pretty sure about the data privacy aspect, right? So you shouldn't give your client information and things like that. That is super important right now. Now, how does HRs can definitely utilize this kind of tools, let's say for research and study support? So, they can gather a lot of insights and assistance in market research. So, let's say there will be, HRs who would like to do different kind of certifications, or let's say tomorrow they want to, upgrade to a different degree. They want to do PhD, or they want to, get support in research. So all those things, all those insights, let's say preparing the abstract, to preparing the manuscript, all those kind of ideas, chat gpt can quickly do that. Similarly, when I talk about the task management, so different organizations can have different level of access. So let's say there could be a super admin who can have a access of specific things, and then depending upon the different areas of the organization, they can get access to that specific task. And through this AI based tools, even I can suggest, one of my favorite tool is Asana and then Trello. So these are a couple of tools in project management which I enable with my AI like ChatGPT, and I can really automate a lot of my work. Even if I need to get a reminder, I can automate it with my WhatsApp. So I get a reminder saying, look, this is the activity I need to do in a particular day, and this deadline is going to come closer, right? So those kind of things it can happen. Similarly, there's an a theory which is known as Parkinson's law, where we say like, when you are a student, or let's say when you are a student, you want to complete your exam, or let's say assignments, all those kind of lectures which you have gathered. You really need to prepare and do things like that. So you have limited time. So you start preparing and prepping maybe 1 or 2 days before the exam, right? So similarly, this concept of Parkinson's law suggests is, even if you have 4 hours, your mind will work very sharp, because you know that after 4 hours you have a submission date. Similarly, with ChatGPT, what it does is you feed them some information within few seconds, or let's say under a minute, it will give you all those information. So that's the power of AI. I recommend you should use. Now, before we go to other slides, I would quickly like to jump into the ChatGPT part where I can really show you live. So you can see here, this is what my GPT module looks like, right? So you can probably see like, there are different versions. I think the free version is default, which is 3.5. With GPT-4, you get an advanced analysis where, let's say, there's a website. Okay, so you have a website. I put that website information, or let's say there is a profile. Okay, so somebody's LinkedIn profile. So I can attach it, and it will give me all kind of data analysis for that profile, right? Similarly, if I need to do research, I need to prepare an assignment for the college, or I need to deliver a lecture, so I will give some relevant information, and based upon that it can advise me. I remember some organizations reaching me. They wanted to raise funds for XYZ, companies, and they give me their profile. So I utilize that profile and then ask the GPT to design a method where there is a likely chance of getting the funding. So those kind of permutations and combinations one can do. Similarly, I am talking about the DAL-E model, which is specifically about the images. So if you see all those images on the PPT, those are all generated by DALL-E model, right? So this is basically a tool which helps me to generate amazing images, right? Now there are more, but I think we are not going to talk about that. Now this is one extension I would like everyone to install. It's a free extension, which really helps me with GPT models, right? It's called AI PRM. So it has enabled the Chat GPT prompts, which is freely available. So you can see here, for example, as I was mentioning, right? If you remember, like, whatever prompts we are giving, people will really try to get that information once again in the future, right? So you can see here, there's an option called top views, latest updates, or let's say top votes trending. So if I have given a vote to one of the prompts saying, okay, it is a good prompt, so every time when I enter a prompt and it gives me a solution, to ask me a thumbs up or thumbs down. So if I give that top votes to that, and if that prompt really works out for all the other people, so if I click this, and if I select a specific topic, let's say I will take my favorite topic, so I will take generative AI, and I want to get very specifically related with DALI. Okay, so I want a specific thing, and I select top votes trending. Okay, so now I would write, okay, live webinar photo for Keka Academy HR session. Okay, so I've just given a prompt, and try to see. Let's see if it can quickly, get me some kind of a solution. So based upon the input which I have given, they're trying to design a specific kind of a picture, which is obviously, they're trying to create a scenario, where they are saying the background is amazing, minimalist office space, which you can see, right, and all those things and stuff like that. Based upon that, they are going to generate an image, right? And then you can see here the option called thumbs down, and let's say, sharing button, even voice. So even I can record my voice, I can attach it, right? So there are different options which one can see with things like that, right? So it is going to generate an image which is specifically, going to help me with that, right? Now I am going to ask me, help me download the DAL image as per the above scenario. Okay. So now I have asked them, like, look, it's good that you have created a scenario for me, which is obviously you have created the atmosphere. You're talking about the virtual audience, which is there, making eye contact and all things like that. Now, can you help me with creating an image which would fit this exact situation? So it is trying to create an image, using the AI aspect, right? So I really don't have to learn coding, or I really don't have to, expect to do all those things. So I just have to give a right prompt, and it will just take care for the rest, right? So you can see this is an amazing photo which it has shown. So you can literally see, like, this is a virtual thing, and then obviously this is a beautiful office setting they have decided, and they have given. So this is a but one of the key challenges I see with GPT models, which is obviously something you need to know, is, sometimes the spellings and sometimes the mistakes in terms of the format and things like that. So it is still learning. Okay, so it cannot give the right input. Sometimes spellings might be wrong. So you can again send a prompt and ask them to, picture, and it is giving you a proper office setting where there's a virtual webinar going on, and people can attend and things like that. One can project and do things like that, right? So this is just one of the examples. When it comes to GPT-4, there are multiple you can have, right? So I'm going to show you some more. So basically, there are like a lot of things you can have. You can attach, you can see here, any kind of an image, any kind of an PPT, and ask it to summarize things for you. Even if you feel like, like you are short of prompts. Okay, so let's say you feel like you really need a lot of prompts, so you can go here. You can probably, make it into a folder. So tomorrow, let's say, you have organized 50 to 100 prompts, so you can put it in one folder. Even you can export in it different formats, like you can see text, JSON, Excel, right? And then you can share this directly. So I know when I have meetings, I don't really have time to actually download this and send it to someone. Let's say I've prepared a PPT and things like that, so I'll just click this share button, and they can directly send this entire screen to them. So they can just open that link, just like this link. So they can just open this link, and they can really download it, or let's say, they can save it in the system, right? Another model which is a complementary to GPT-4 right now, which is Copilot. So this is, I think, something inbuilt. You can see here, I mean, you can see different icons here. So you can probably, use this. So the one benefit is it's free right now. Though they have also launched something, I remember, with $30 per month. This one is $20 per month, right? So they have also launched, but again, the benefit here of a basic Copilot is you can also, create topics, you can add images free of cost, you can add a screenshot and things like that, right? Even you can use microphone, you can do this creative part, balanced and all. So this is also something super interesting, which I find, which is also free. You can use it for Copilot. But let's say if you want to take Copilot Pro, so then you have to go with the subscription. Same with the GPT-4, right? So these are some of the things which I wanted to highlight. And then obviously, based upon shortcuts also we have. So there are some tools called as a superpower GPT I use. So just like in Excel, you have shortcuts, right? So similarly, I have some shortcuts. Let's say I want to open quickly gallery, I can use this Control Alt plus Y and things like that, right? So those kind of shortcuts also I can have. Another thing is, let's say, tomorrow I want to go back and check, okay, what are the prompts I have searched. So all those things will come. And then let's say there are also some free prompts. Okay, so when I say free prompts means, let's say, when I'm talking about community prompts. So there are people like me, like others, who would like to submit some prompts to everyone. Okay, so these are some of the prompts you can see. So I will select whichever field I like. So let's say for me, one of the interesting field would be productivity. Okay, so I'm just saying most votes. Okay, so maximum votes, what are the prompts which is available? So you can see with productivity, I think people are talking about how to be a experienced AI programmer. Then there is something called as bot, how to run bots and things like that, how to generate an article titles, professional prompt designer. So basically I can select whatever I like and I can get. So there's a variety of topics I can pick up, related with that. Even if you're doing blogging, if you're having ideas to generate, right, so you can probably get different prompts which is inbuilt, right, so that is something you really don't need to put. So you just need to, what you can do is you just need to click this, you need to copy this, and then it will just automatically come here and you can just paste it and you can get these things done, right? So this is a little bit about the GPT-4. We'll come back to this after some time as well, once we are through with the PPT, right? So I just wanted to show you some things on the ethical considerations and data privacy part as well, because you really need to make sure that you don't give up your personal information. Now, yeah, this is an interesting thing. Everyone has asked me, like, when it comes to productivity, so can HRs increase their productivity, right? So all those things which I have shown you is it literally takes fraction of seconds. Similarly, if I want to streamline my task, let's say if I'm talking about new employee joining an organization, and I want to ensure they get the right documents on time. They are through with the training process, they are connected with the L&D trainer on time, and everything is scheduled properly, and even the data analysis, let's say, to increase the operational efficiency is done. So all those things will really help me in my productivity boost, and it will really help me to be super productive. Similarly, for workflow optimization, okay, so we can use chat gpt for content generation, customer interactions, and decision support. So as I've shown you different ideas one can generate, similarly there are some customer interactions one can capture. So even if you're an HR and you feel like your customers, what they are really liking, or let's say what they are really passionate about, I can give an example with one of the tools which I have been using since long. So it's Einstein GPT, which really helps to capture all those environments. So let's say someone is going for shopping and they have browsed a website. So what kind of questions have they asked the bot? What kind of questions have they left for the bot? Or let's say have they have a genuine requirement which was not catered at that time. So those kind of things can be passed on to the sales, or let's say the human resource department if they want to contact them for any kind of things like that. Or let's say if you want to organize some training sessions and you really need to ask your prospects what kind of topics they want. So those kind of workflow optimization can be done, and then you can take the right decision support from them, right? Now, I mean, these are not the closing remarks, but closing in the sense, like these, this is one of the last topics right now for today, right? Because this is a vast topic, though, when I talk about prompt engineering, because this is everything, I believe. Like, if you can really master prompt engineering, you can really work with data scientists, you can really talk to them in those same context easily. Right, so there are some principles you really need to master, right? So I have shown you some prompts. I will also show you three of my favorite websites for HRs and recruiters and L&Ds. So we can also see what are those websites where you can also start getting all those prompts. How do we do effective communication, in terms of talking with our other colleagues, or let's say, talking with other, industry people, right? So all kind of clear guidelines, how to engage them and how to get the right relevant prompt. That construction part can be automized using those kind of tools, right? Now, one of the key questions people do ask me, like, why are you so much advocating for ChatGPT 4.0? The reason I advocate for that is it just not saves my time, but also helps me to get solutions to larger problems. So let's say if I want to publish a book, and I know that I need to write around 50,000 to 1 lakh word. So I can't use the free version of GPT because it can have limited word limit to give an answer, or let's say some kind of ideas. So here you can see the word limit is up to 25,000. So let's say even if you're writing a LinkedIn post, or let's say if you're writing something large, like an article, or let's say a book, you're trying to write. So all those kind of things now can be implemented using ChatGPT 4.0. Similarly, the image reading capability. So you can see this photo, which is specifically this person. This is an AI generated image, and this person is trying to talk about the future. Think about like how Elon Musk is working on different things with space, with moon, with Mars, right? So all those things this person is showing to the world, right? And image can really be quickly be accessed by ChatGPT. So I remember like a lot of my students, they sometimes get very tough questions in quizzes, and they want to get solutions. So they just upload the image right away. GPT gives the answers in literally 5 to 10 seconds. So I remember one of my students saying like they had to do a coding round, which was specifically for one of the competition at one of the large institutions, and they had very limited time. So they just put the image, and that image, they mentioned it very clearly: I don't need the explanation, I just need the answer. So within literally 5 seconds they got the answer, and they literally won that event. So yeah, I mean, GPT is a very interesting tool which can be used, right? This is more accessible to non-native speakers. So someone who feels like they want to use it in, let's say, in Hindi, or let's say they want to use in different language, they want to use in Spanish, they want to use it in something like German, or right, French, right? So it has access to, I think what I've seen is close to 26 plus languages. I could figure out which one can answer. So I know few of my clients are in Dubai, so they don't like to speak English all the time. So we sometimes do conversation, like I send them my text in Hindi, it gets converted to Arabic. They send me conversation in Arabic, it gets converted to Hindi. So basically those kind of automation one can do in terms of GPT-4, and we can have conversations in our own languages. Let the GPT take care for the translation, things like that. The most next important thing I would like to highlight, even for a student's journey, even for anyone who's a faculty, or let's say even who's a business owner, or even someone who's running a company, or a recruiter, or an L&D person. There are chances when you see that people try to hack accounts, or let's say they ask questions like, can I find password to this specific account, and things like that. So what this GPT model, especially the GPT-4 model, is doing, it's 82% less likely to respond to requests for disallowed content. Okay, so something which is against things which is critical right now. So again, this will not respond. It will give you a prompt saying like, this is not ethical, or we are not going to help you, something like that, right? So that's the great part of this improvement. More concise, less wordy answer. So to the point, it will give me the answer. The formatting, yeah, I mean, as you see my PPT, right? So the formatting is something very important right now. So with GPT, you get the formatting to the point. You really don't have to work too hard. So let's say you can say like, I need 12 size Arial, and I need very specifically, very specific. I need in a A4 size paper. So all those kind of things it can give you in a Word document, and you can directly print it right away. Right. We can now determine the model's tone, style, and behavior. Yeah. So this is also super important. You can also get what is the tonality, what is the style and behavior. So let's say, for example, I need to do a humor post. Okay, so I need to create some humor into LinkedIn post. I want to let people engage with that. So I can select a button called humor, and the style which I am selecting based upon the tone, it will give me some kind of post which I can create. Right. Similarly, this has been incorporated to major apps. So initially, it started with language translations, or let's say companies like Duolingo, Excel, and Intercom. Then it has reached, I think, close to, I am currently having 160 plus extensions right now with GPT-4. So let's say, for example, I want to design a banner. I really don't have to go every time to Canva. I have just integrated GPT-4 with my Canva. So automatically it will give me prompts what I need to write to Canva, and it will design the things, let's say posters for me, literally in seconds, right? So that's the power of the extensions with GPT-4. Even I would like to highlight, like, since I have been working closely with Microsoft as well. So GPT-4 is also now, specifically, like when I talk about ChatGPT 4.0, they have started, coming up with reward management system, where if you are actually developing something on your own, some kind of app or something like that with using GPT-4, you can list it. And in US, they have started, quickly coming up with rewards. Similarly, in India also they will come up, and you can get rewarded for something interesting concepts of, apps or something which you are trying to build with GPT-4. And believe me, you don't need to be a developer, because all those Python and whatever programming languages are there, it will obviously take care of itself. You just need to be super expert in prompt engineering, right? So this is something I would like to highlight. Now, before going to the last couple of sections of today's presentation, let's go back to the chat gpt part, right? So I was talking about a lot of things which we can have, right, with gpt, in terms of a lot of areas, in terms of what are the ways we can really see things and stuff like that. So one of the key things what I have seen with gpt is I can also do a lot of editing to this gpt. So let's say if I have already got a prompt, so there are options where I can probably ask the gpt to expand that solution, to summarize, or let's say I can add more, where I can probably give some kind of so specific prompt saying like, look, I really want to expand it, clarify, paraphrase that last response, or let's say I want to make it more conversational, make it more relevant to a specific model. So all those kind of things I can enable that with gpt. Similarly, let's say I want to get a poetic writing style. I like to do shairis, for example, so I can also use this to generate for that, right? And then obviously I can include my profile. So this, when I click this tick button, what happens is whatever prompts I am submitting, it will go for the community prompts. I can put it for the community, people can have. So I have not put my profile info, but once I put, I can see this like that. Similarly, you can see like there is also a way where we can keep a prompt chain, right? So what is a prompt chain? A lot of people ask me, right? So I have to create something like very specifically, let's say saying like let's get a solution to a problem in 7 seconds. Okay, so this is just kind of a right. And let me also write stepwise, sorry, provide let me give the context, provide the input to the question. Okay, so this is one of the prompt I have created, and this is, once I play it, I can actually get a solution in under 7 seconds, right? So this is something we can create with the help of GPT-4, right? Similarly, there are also options you can upgrade. There are also different tools you can have. You can see a lot of tools. You can also put it here. You can add customizations and things like that, right? And I think this is what I was talking about. Quickly, I can show you something like that. So let me see. Yeah. So you can see here, my WhatsApp is enabled with Sidekick, Gmail, Slack, Discord, Zoom, and then other tools I have disabled right now. But you can have Chat GPT, Calendar, LinkedIn, Asana, and all those things you can have enabled. So that you can really do things on automation. This is also an interesting tool which I wanted to highlight, which is known as Sidekick. Now, quickly jumping on, to the last part of the presentation, so we can then come back to the prompts. So there are two important things which I want to highlight. Let's say people do come to me saying like, okay, there's enough of prompt engineering you're talking about. What about complex areas? Okay, so let's say I want to get a precise result. So I am working on a project, let's say for deepfake, and I want to design an LLM model to ensure that whatever deepfake videos are coming online, so it will find out the wrong videos and give me a summary of that, right? So all those kind of analysis, all those kind of prompt structures, it can help me with that. It can give me a precision with terms of the prompts which I'm putting, and it can give me targeted response. Even think about surveys. Okay, so let's say you're launching a product tomorrow in an organization, and you really want them to come up with kind of surveys, so that they can give you the right answer and stuff like that. Last is saving time with chat gpt. So this is something which is self-explanatory. Like, you already know so many benefits I've shared today, right? So it's having a time saving application. It gives you a quick information and then automated research, right? And how do you do more with less? So obviously this the same things which I have talked in in this 40 minutes, when I'm talking about the task management, workflow optimization, and then delegation and coordination. I think that is something one can have, right? Before I end this session, so I'll just quickly show you one more thing. So this is the website. I'll anyway send it across on the mail. This is one of my favorite website where I see interesting prompts for HR professionals. So for HR generalists, there are some prompts given. For recruiters, there are some prompts. For compensation and benefits, there are some prompts. Similarly, for training and development, and for talent management, and so on. Similarly, there's another website, GPT for HR, very specifically. So I can select, let's say, recruiting. I can select talent development, talent. So based upon that, it can give me this prompt. I just have to click this prompt, and it can be pasted in my chat GPT, right? Similarly, there's one more last website which is called AI HR. So this is also very interesting, I've seen. And based upon that, it is showing me what are the answers one can get with the help of GPT-4. Okay, so this works with GPT-4, just to let you know. And these are the different areas where it can help me with all those things. So I think that's all from my end. And if there are any questions, happy to take it further. Yeah. Okay, so I started getting the questions. Okay, so a manuscript generated using GPT when tested for plagiarism, does it show any severity? Yes, 110%. So it does happen, when there is, a chance where a lot of researchers want to use this, and they want to ensure that, it's not copy pasted. So basically, you write in the prompt saying, like, look, I need the plagiarism to be less than 5%, so it will help you to give that solution as well. So yeah, that's also possible, but I would still not recommend to use that way. Okay, is it true now the job of third artist, content writer, SEO, social media kind of profile have tough competition as they need to upgrade themselves because chat gpt has taken the jobs and many layoffs? Yes, I mean, logically speaking, yes, it has taken a lot of jobs. But again, when it comes to upgrading, so when you are upgrading, you are trying to complement the chat GPT, right? As a user, because we can use emotions which AI can't use. So when you learn chat GPT, you will be secured with your job. You will be secured with the future, right? So there's no way I can predict saying the company is going to do layoff today or tomorrow. They can do anytime, but we have to be ready with the technology. So if we learn that, we can definitely be secured in that environment. So yeah, I mean, the next question is from Vasavi. If we use ChatGPT or any other AI for our project works or any confidentials, what we will do if there are any possibility for data breaching or data theft? I mean, logically speaking, you cannot do anything. The reason being, you are giving the information, your confidential info. That's what I said. Do not give that information. So there's no control of me giving any information and saying, like, look, I have to ensure that that information for enterprises. Okay, so chat gpt for enterprises, they do offer that security approach where if they upload something, so that can be secured. But let's say for general public, like who's using chat gpt day to day basis, I mean, your data will definitely be taken away. So you need to be, make sure you don't give your client information. So that is something very important. Okay, Varsha has a question. There are also chances that incorrect information can be provided. What can be done? Yes, so you need to be very diligent about the information. So you can ask the GPT different questions in different ways. Okay, so for example, you need a solution. You ask the GPT, give a prompt, it gives a solution. Then you also try to recheck that answer. So you ask them again, like, what are the sources where you have actually got this answer. So it will list down those sources. It will give you the links from where they have captured that. So you can ask them the sources from where you have got the information. So you can do that due diligence. So I hope this answers your questions. Okay. Uh, Dimple has a question. Is there any free AI we can you suggest other than ChatGPT which can support in drafting engaging draft decisions? Logically speaking, there are 350 AI tools I know. What I'll do is I'll share those AI tools. So there are a lot of tools which can help you with a lot of things, even job description posting. There are a lot of AI tools in HR field I know. So I'll share that after the session. So there are a tons of tools. If you go it on Google, you can get it immediately. A lot of tools, when it comes with AI. I don't use any specific, but I use a mix of all those tools, right? But I like Copilot more. So Copilot is also giving me that kind of help, like ChatGPT 4.0. Okay, so Vacha has a question. What can we do for the PMS model as help of chapter? I mean, yeah, I mean, when we talk about performance management system, right? So we talk about appraisals, we talk about how to retain the talent, how to do things like that. So one of the key aspect I believe with ChatGPT is giving them some context. Don't give the right information, but give them some context, saying like this person has done this kind of work in XYZ timeline, and this person has done this time this thing. So can you compare both those candidates and tell me whom should I give a better proposal, better appraisal, right? So whom should I give a better hike or things like that. So you can compare, you can create those kind of profiles and stuff like that. Okay, Chaya has a question. Free PPT creation tools, please recommend. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the favorite tools I really like is Gamma. I think you can recommend. Gamma is there. Then there is slides.io, which I also like. These are free PPT creation tools. So hardly I give some prompts and it quickly gives me like. But tomorrow, if you buy ChatGPT 4.0, so I mean it's already inbuilt in that. So those are some tools. But again, I'll once I circulate all those lists, so I'll add those tools in that as well. So on those AI tools, there will be PPT creation tools as well. Okay. So I see a lot of questions unanswered. Yeah. Okay. The next question is how to give custom information so that the GPT is trained according to you for proper outputs. I guess it's about learning, right, Manish? So, for example, when you talk about giving custom information, so you really need to first see what kind of context it is. So, the better you know about the context, let's say, for example, I want to talk about an employee onboarding. Okay, so I need to check with my competition what they are doing. So, let's say I am a big organization, an enterprise, and I'm trying to compete with a startup. So it doesn't make sense. So I have to compete with an enterprise to work around with that. So if you give the right context, it will give you a better output. So what I mean to say is you need to do a proper research yourself first rather than giving them a random prompt. That will not help the chat GPT. Think of chat GPT like your friend. So when you go to your friend with a random kind of a question, how do they answer? They get puzzled, right? They hallucinate. So same thing with chat GPT. You come up with a solid question with a research, and that will really solve your question and purpose. Okay, can LLMs replace the networking? I mean, I can't say yes to this, but you never know. I mean, there could be a startup coming with such kind of a solution. I mean, yeah, 5 to 10 years down the line, people would not physically go and meet, for example. That is something I know because thanks to all this technology and things like that. But depends, like there might be chances where robots will come into the picture. They will go and give lectures to virtual audiences. Your avatars will be created tomorrow. So there is chances they can, but they can't replace 100% per se. I mean, obviously, just like your jobs. Okay, so when you talk about your jobs, does it get 100% replaced? No, right? So what I feel, Bharat, is like LLMs can support us in terms of networking things like, but it can't replace entirely, right? So I hope that will solve your questions, right? Let's see what are the other questions. Okay, Mustafa has a question. Can ChatGPT replace HR jobs in future? I mean, ChatGPT is not replacing per se, but what can say is it is going to automate a lot of work, right? So if there are 10 HRs in an organization and if a software can do the work of 10 HRs in literally 1 hour, so I would just like to have one HR as a backup to use that tool. So I don't need the remaining 9 HRs. That's a logical thing. But when you see with that kind of an analysis, what about emotions? Chat gpt can't analyze emotions. They when once you feed it some information, they will just learn that information and try to. So there might be chances you give an appraisal to a wrong person. There might be chances you fire a wrong person, right? So based upon that, I don't think it will replace the thing. But yes, if you don't learn things, anyone can be replaceable. I mean, we say it, right? I mean, no one is going to stick to one organization for forever. I mean, very rare people do stick. So everyone is replaceable, which we say, right? So with ChatGPT also one can be replaceable if you don't learn those kind of technologies and things like that. Okay, are there any other AI tools other than GPT-4 to improve HR functions? Are AI tools cost effective? Okay, there are a lot of questions to answer. Let's answer quickly. So there are a lot of tools, as I have already captured this in the previous question. So I'll anyways put it across on the PPT part, right? And are these costly? Yes, these are very costly tools. But again, it will depend on what is the use case. For me, I'm running a business, so for me, spending 2,000 a month is not a big thing. But let's say if you're a student, I would recommend think about what is the reason why you want to buy that tool. So that would really solve your question. Okay, Nidhi has a question. How ChatGPT will help with recruitment and sourcing? Yeah, I mean, just think about like, you really need to source 15 profiles from different areas. If you do it manually versus you're trying to do it through using an AI tool, it really saves you a lot of time, right? Even this AI tools are now being integrated in different, companies. Even Keka has an AI tool enabled, the ATS platform. So I feel like with help of ChatGPT and solutions like this, one can really do things much faster and better than what we do it in a day-to-day manual work. You called a person, you verify things, so those are things you can do it on a later basis. But let's say you can really do this with the help of ChatGPT in literally seconds or even minutes. So, any more questions? Okay. So, what are current limitations of ChatGPT? What will the workforce impact be? Varsha, so what I believe is like there are a lot of limitations of ChatGPT. As I mentioned, it hallucinates. When I say hallucinates means so for me, I have every 3 hours I can run 40 prompts. Once I finish those 40 prompts, it will give me wrong answers or it will not give me to the accurate answers because it has exhausted, right? Similarly, when you search on ChatGPT, if you don't give the right context, it will give you the wrong answer. So your context, your prompt engineering really matters. And when it comes about the future part, I believe like there are a lot of things which ChatGPT could do because we are fully dependent on the ChatGPT part, right? So what I can say is it will really support you in a lot of things, but I believe you should first focus more on finding what's the context of the problem and then give a better prompt. Okay, Mehraj also has a question. Can ChatGPT be personalized to fit specific HR needs? Yes, 100%. It can be personalized. Okay, today. Okay, so there are a lot of questions. Let's see which one we can pick. Okay, yeah, I mean, it can facilitate internal communications such as team chat integration. So, MS Teams also can be integrated, let's say, with ChatGPT and things like that. Okay, Sridarshini has an interesting question. Isn't ChatGPT making people very lazy? 100% it is making it lazy. I mean, yes, but it is solving your purpose, right? Just think about why do you order food from Zomato? You're hungry, right? So you need food as quick as possible rather than going to the restaurant and waiting. So yeah, I mean, it is making you lazy 110%. But that's how the life is. I mean, we are getting more lazy thanks to these AI tools. Any more questions? I think I'm trying to answer. Okay, can ChatGPT has free AI tool for generation of images? Yes. So I mentioned about DAL-E, DALL-E, right? So that is the free AI tool which you can use, with ChatGPT. Similarly, if you search different things, even Canva also now uses AI. So there are a lot of tools I know which is using AI right now. So you can do that. Okay, so I think there are a lot of questions remaining. Sai Gita, she has a question. What challenges might arise when integrating ChatGPT into HR processes and how they can be addressed? So yeah, one of the key challenges is first getting your company to accept. Okay, so because your company has to accept that some critical information has to be given to ChatGPT. So ChatGPT would need data, right? So what kind of sample data sets are you trying to give? That is something your HR has to decide, because you don't want to give your past historical data of performance analysis appraisals and all because your competitor don't want to get that, right? So you can create some kind of data set, some samples to let ChatGPT learn the model. Based upon that, it can say, okay, the top 10 percentile will get X appraisal, the top 20 next percentile will get X appraisal, and the bottom will not get the appraisals because again they don't qualify to that. So all those things can be integrated, but there are a lot of challenges to be honest, because the reason being the data has to be shared. Okay, so now it depends how your organization is comfortable in sharing the data. Though with enterprise, ChatGPT is way more secure, so they have a certain set of SLA and certain set of specific SOPs which they define. What are the things that will be shared? With other things they will not get shared. Okay, what about Lorem AI? Okay, so this is something you're asking a specific tool, or you want me to describe about what is a Lorem AI? I mean, because to be honest, Lorem AI is something I don't have any idea. Is it a tool or it is more of you're saying more on the API sentence generator, something related with that? So let's go to the next question. Okay, how to avoid being undetected while using ChatGPT? What about your? Okay, so I mean, there's no way you can run around with Vacha like saying like how to avoid. So basically, they are only capturing all those details. right. And coming to your other question, I believe, like, as I mentioned in the previous thing, so if you give the right context, if you know for what purpose you are using the tool, so it will help you in all your questions and answers, right? So when it comes to avoiding, no, it cannot be avoided. So I mean, if you are an ethical hacker, maybe you know a solution, that's another case. But other than that, I think it can't be avoided. So there's a strict no answer to that. Okay, there are still a lot of questions remaining. Let's see. Okay, so let me filter unanswered. Okay, there are around 15-20 questions. Okay, so Varsha has a question. People that are too dependent on Chat GPT. What are your thoughts on this subject? I think yes. I mean, as I mentioned in the previously, people are getting lazy. People are depending on that. But when it comes to LinkedIn, or when it comes to using that information online, I recommend to add something of your own as well. So whenever you go to my LinkedIn, I also use ChatGPT to come up with ideas, but your idea should be unique. Okay, so you really need to add some of your context. You really need to give a lot of your information as well, because I believe if you really copy paste those things, that is not going to help you. Neither is going to optimize your profile. So I believe you should be dependent on ChatGPT, but you shouldn't be 100% dependent on that. Okay, so this question is answered. Next is Nidhi has a question: how ChatGPT will help with recruitment and sourcing? Okay, so I think this has been covered already. I mean, recruitment and sourcing, we have already spoken. Uh, Pedada Archana has a question. ChatGPT is basically AI generated content. How to avoid being undetected? I think this has also been answered. It is no way you can get avoided. Isn't data privacy not hampered there in custom prompts? It is. It is getting hampered. I mean, that's what the community prompt. That's the word I'm using rather than custom. So I mean, obviously, you're making it public. You're giving it to others. So obviously, it is hampered. So give only the limited information. Is there any free AI which you can other than? I think this has been answered. Dimple. Okay. This also has been answered. Okay. Is ChatGPT providing right information about anything as a Google? Because sometimes it's different. So that's what. So ChatGPT is only giving the answers which we have given or trained them in the past. So there are every day around close to 1 lakh people using ChatGPT 4.0, right? Even more than that. People have bought that license. So they are giving those prompts, they are giving those solutions, they are getting those solutions from ChatGPT. So it's us only who are training it. So now we have to be diligent to find what is it is 100% accurate or whether it is 80% accurate or things like. But I think with GPT-4, it is more accurate. Next, Mukesh has a question. What type of business could benefit from ChatGPT from their HR strategies? I think every business is benefiting. Any industry you talk about. So let's say the L&D head, let's say someone who wants to design an amazing strategy for a training, they can use for idea generation. They can use it, to engage the audience and things like that. So there are a lot of things that can be done. Okay, kindly provide the link. I didn't get this. Rahul has this question. Okay, which technique is used in Chat GPT? So I think this has to be very relevant. What kind of technique you're asking? But to be honest, I think prompt engineering is what I mentioned in terms of Chat GPTs. Next is, I think some questions are repeated. Let's skip that. Okay, Aisha has a question. Can I use ChatGPT for digital marketing, trading, and other finance related things? Yes, I mean you can use it. I mean ChatGPT can be used for a lot of things, but be careful because there are a lot of people who are using to bet and to win stocks and things like that. But it is not recommended. Though it might take some historical data saying like, okay, this is where you can invest in mutual funds and things like that. But I still not recommend because you're going to face financial losses. So Varsha has a question: do employers test a candidate's ability to use ChatGPT? To be honest, this will depend on which kind of employers we are talking about. But yes, they will definitely like to see if that person is knowing AI or not, right? So that is something. I mean, if I want to hire someone, right? So I would really like that person to know a little bit of AI. That's for basic, part, something like that. So let me refresh the votes. Okay. I guess I have answered all the questions. Okay, in this era, Nikita has a question. In this era, learning prompt engineer is worthy, right? Do we need any prior experience specific degree? I mean, logically speaking, you don't need a degree, something. I mean, and it is worthy. Absolutely, it's worthy. That's the reason we are here. But what I feel is you can probably go to, I think, the best solution is Keka Academy. So you can go and you can take a lot of HR certifications from them right away. So that way, you can really get things sorted. So I think my LinkedIn also will be shared. So if there are any questions you have offline, I can also help you. I will also share my LinkedIn to everyone so that you can probably reach out to me and share your feedback about today's session. I'm assuming we are now finishing with all the questions. So I have just texted my LinkedIn on the chat box. You can probably share some photos, share about what are the things you learned today in the session, and let me know if there's any way I can help you as well. Okay, so I think that's all, I guess.
Yes, thank you so much, Abhilek, for this amazing, insightful session and for patiently answering all the questions and clearing every small doubt that the students are having.
Thank you, my pleasure. I think, Madhu, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be part of Keka, and I look forward to engaging more with students and also with the HRs.
Sure, we do. Thank you.